All right. So in the recording, you won't see my face like you guys will right now. Like I said before, it's a little disappointing. Only 2 people showed up. I was hoping for more because then we get a series of probably pretty good questions, especially considering the number of people saying that they'd be able to show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go over very quickly the course outline. Not in full detail. You're going to have to read it all. And again, yeah, I guess no one can see me, but just to reiterate for the 2 of you, if you keep seeing me in the video looking over here, it's because that's where the chat is. Yeah, I'm just going to go over the syllabus. You still have to go over it in like detail on your own, but I'm going to go over some of the key points. And I'm going to go over the course schedule because this is asynchronous, right? So there's no actual lectures. You just kind of work through it all on your own. So yeah, here I'll go. Let me zoom it a bit, make it a little bigger. So 161 in the summer, you might see like the course is listed somewhere. It's like 161, section 66. That's just the section they gave it for the summer. We cover everything from the basics of programming, like the first program you ever write, which is like Hello World. And it goes all the way to writing, relatively sophisticated programs, especially when you put it in the context of like first year, first semester programming course. I'm Dr. Hughes. There's no lectures. It's all asynchronous. There is a schedule that we will look at shortly. The lab sections, again, there's no scheduled labs. It's all asynchronous. And office hours, just contact me and we'll do it by appointment. No point of any regular scheduled office hours. Here's all of the course content. If you go to Moodle, let me go real quick. Moodle. Log in, assuming it works. Yeah, 66. And here, this is the Moodle page. Really, all that's going to be there. Oh man, they added a heck of a lot of stuff. These are hidden from you. You can't access the tests now. Moodle's only going to be used for assignment submission and writing the tests. All of the actual course content is on this website. And if you're trying to remember this, you don't need to really remember that. Just like go to CSCI161.com. That's it. It'll redirect you, but that's the URL that gets you to the course content. From here, yeah, all the course content, all the labs, all the assignments are currently available. There's some getting set up information here. There's really not much to do. All you really need to do is just access Google Colab. Just you type into Google Colab, you go here. It's gonna say like, oh, sign up or whatever. If you have a Google account, you just use your Google account. If you don't have a Google account somehow, then you can make one. If you're morally opposed to making a Google account, just make it for the purpose of the course. It's easier this way. This way you don't need to install anything on your computer. You just write your code here, right? And there, this is a program. Just for demonstration purposes, there. Print Hello World, it printed out Hello World. That's it. We use Colab, that's where we're gonna write all our code. It makes it easy. Yeah. And then the course outline. So very quickly, the course outline. Pretty standard stuff, just covering what I already said. Everything's asynchronous. The website is where all the course content is. There is a course textbook. It's entirely free. It supplements the actual course content. If you go to any of the topics in the course near the bottom of the page, it'll always say like, oh, look at this chapter of the text. If you go through that, you're going to be a wizard. Topics covered. Yeah. Here's the course breakdown. 4 assignments, 5% each. Test 1, effectively the midterm, is 30% of your final grade, and the final exam is 50% of your final grade. A lot of people tend to get freaked out by this, but usually what I've noticed over the last little bit is like talented, like good students do better like this. The only people who really do bad with course breakdowns of this are students that were already going to be unsuccessful. So if you just do your thing, the assignments are there to give you practice. You learn, demonstrate what you know on the test, you'll be in great shape. Assignment submissions, you submit it via Moodle. The due dates are the due dates. There's no late submissions. If it's due at 11:55 and you submit at 11:56, it's not getting marked. That's it. It's simple. Marking, a TA will likely be used to help with marking. And if there's any issues with the marking, reach out to me or the TA, and usually we can get that figured out pretty good. Tests. You can't cheat on tests. There's no makeup tests. If you make up a test, if you miss a test, the weight of the test will get shifted to the final. Although if we're using ProctorU, there's really no reason to miss it. Okay, this is what it says about ProctorU. The online exams of the course require a proctor. For instructions on how to schedule your exam with ProctorU, please see the proctoring section of your course Moodle page. For information on policies governing your use of ProctorU, see that link. This is all stuff not created by me. I don't know the ins and outs of ProctorU very much. Labs. There are labs. If you go to the course website, here's a lab, Hello World. You work through it. Obviously, there's no scheduled labs in that, like, you don't attend the labs, but these are activities for you for practice. There's no grade associated with them, but doing them is going to reinforce what you've learned. You're definitely going to want to do the labs. The lab procedure, yeah. Email, you can email me, of course. Office hours, they're by schedule. I own all my content. You can't redistribute it, but it's made publicly available anyways, so that would be hard to kind of do. You can't cheat, don't cheat, pretty standard stuff. You can get a tutor, of course, yeah, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, this is all pretty standard boilerplate stuff when it comes to course outlines. You got to go through it on your own, but that's kind of the key points. In terms of the schedule, here is the schedule. So what I did, so it's an 8-week course. It ends of the week of the 12th of August. What I've done is I've kind of grouped the topics in a way where obviously there's only so many hours in a week, right? So you're not, like, I'm not going to expect you to do like 7 topics in a week unless they happen to be really small or something. But I selected the topics and the labs that go with the topics in a way where they make, like, they're more coherently together. Now, it's not always going to be the case, but maybe you see like, well, why topics 1 to 4 instead of 1 to 3? Well, maybe 3 and 4 went really good together. You really should cover them all in 1 week. So there was some method to the madness on how these were broken down. Same with the labs. For the assignments, these are all the due dates for the assignments. Each of the assignments, like the core concepts that like the assignments are designed to reinforce, and the assignments' respective due dates will align with the topics that are covered during the semester. During like the schedule, right? So if this is due July 8th, well, these first 2 weeks after that, like, you would have covered all the content you need to know in order to be successful on that assignment. Test 1, that's when it's scheduled. Test 2, the final, that hasn't been scheduled yet. I don't schedule it. That's going to be done by like the registrar, but that's that. Yeah, that's basically it. So I'm trying to think what else would be worth noting right now. Colab, yeah, Colab is going to be where you're writing all your code. You'll note, like, if you go through the course content, like course notes, right? The first topic. If you work through it, you're going to see activities in here. Some of them are not really going to make a lot of sense if it's just you working through this on your own, right? This is the course content I use during the regular semesters, right? So some of these don't make a lot of sense. But when you do get to the activities, you're going to want to do them. And you're going to want to give them a shot, right? This is old. I should get rid of that. Yeah, I need to update this. There are not 2 sections for the summer. You can kind of ignore it. If working through the course content and you're like, this is clear, you might come across something that's like, well, clearly this is for like the regular fall and winter semesters. Yeah, that it's going to happen. I didn't catch them all. This first topic doesn't really have a lot in there in terms of like writing code. But once you start getting into really you don't have to get very far. You're going to start seeing like examples of code. I would like, it's always good to maybe take this code, just kind of run it to make sure like everything makes sense to you as you're going along. You're definitely going to want to do the activities. Follow along, take your time. Don't rush through this stuff. I don't know like, look, if someone told you this course is easy, I don't think, like if you're taking this because someone said, oh yeah, intro programming, that'll be easy. I don't think I would use that. I wouldn't describe this as easy. I wouldn't say that it's hard, but it will require a lot. It's a very technical topic, right? And with topics like this, they tend to be very constructive. You can't do this if you don't know how to do this, which you can't do if you don't know how to do this. So you got to make sure you're taking your time and you understand everything along the way, because it's so constructive. And everything that you do today depends on what you learned yesterday. So you have to be very on top of it. But if you stay on top of it and you just work through the exercises, chances are you're going to be in great shape. So there are some videos that go along with some exercises that might be a little tricky. Some of these videos are going to be from an older version of Python, so there will be some minor differences. For example, just as a note, in Python 3, which is what we're using, whenever you print something out, you need these parentheses around whatever you're printing. In Python 2, in some of the examples you might see something like, right? That won't work in Python 3, but some small little things that you might notice in the videos, but for the most part, they will cover the same things. One thing you might really want to just take note of is the YouTube channel. If you go to the YouTube channel, there's a YouTube channel for the course, and here there will be playlists. And I have playlists of like the courses I've taught every semester. So you can find 161 from last fall. Hell, there's 2 sections of 161 from last fall that I taught, both with their own series of recordings. So even though it's asynchronous, you can go and watch all of the recorded lectures that are effectively identical to what you're going to see from this fall. Or sorry, like fall 2023. You can find fall 2021, fall 2022. It's all there, right? You can, fall 2020. You can go and watch these recorded lectures if you'd like, if you really want that lecture feel. So be aware that these exist, the recordings. And what else? I mean, that's basically it in terms of everything I think I wanted to hit. It's an asynchronous course. You follow the schedule. You work through the content on your own. That's basically the whole thing there. So, any questions from either of the two of you? Happy to take them now. I realize you asked about ProctorU already. I'll just say it again for the sake of the recording. I really don't know much about ProctorU. If I find out more important things, I'll pass it along. But if you have specific questions, reach out to SaintFX Online or send the questions to me so I can send them on to Proctor or to SaintFX Online so they can answer them for us. Because I'm new with this too. I know for the most part they have like overwhelmingly, SaintFX Online says they have an overwhelmingly positive experience. Like the profs have an overwhelmingly positive experience with ProctorU. So I'm assuming we will as well. It's just I haven't done it yet, so part of me, I don't know myself. I see someone's typing in the chat, so I'll just, if anyone's watching the recording wondering what's going on. Oh, and you know what? I will say right now too, just in case, for the benefit of those that are watching the recording, when I sent the email out saying when people would be like asking about having a session tonight, some people said, there was at least one person that said that, oh, they can't make it on Monday, but today, but they'll make it to the other ones. There are no other ones that's asynchronous. Maybe something was unclear in the email I sent. I just want to make sure it's clear at this stage. There is not expected to be any other scheduled things like this at this time. So just be aware of that. If you were thinking this would be a regular occurring thing, it's not. All right. Will you have something like office hours? Yes. So I won't have like regularly scheduled office hours. Okay. Well, okay. If we have a question about an assignment or whatever, we have certain hours to reach you. So what we'll do is send me an email. Okay. There's a little bit to unpack here. First of all, in general, I won't have regularly scheduled office hours like during the regular semesters, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm available all the time from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays or something. I'm not going to do that because during the summer, everyone's schedule is different. A lot of people are working shift work and people's availability is going to be all over the place. So that's just not going to work. So what we'll do instead is when something comes up, shoot me an email and then we'll look to find a time that can work. And I'm pretty optimistic that will be pretty, it shouldn't be too difficult to get that figured out. I mean, I knock on wood, right? I don't want to jinx it. One thing I do want to note though is, and I'm not anticipating this being a problem, but one thing that professors and students need to be aware of when it comes to office hours is they have to make sure office hours are being done effectively. A lot of professors are really bad at hosting office hours, which then kind of sets students off on the wrong foot. So as a professor, one of the number one things you really want to like encourage your students is independence. But of course, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, sometimes I don't care how independent I am or you are. Sometimes you just got a damn question. Yeah. So you come to office hours, we can get it figured out. But don't jump straight to office hours. And I'm not saying that because I want to discourage anyone from coming to office hours. That's really not the point I'm making here. With programming, like it's often a joke in programming how like you need to make 1,000 mistakes before you get it right. Like you need to beat your head against your keyboard a lot in order to get it right. So being stuck on something is normal, and like when writing code, like there's like some statistic out there. I can't remember what it is, but it's like software engineers write on average some hilariously small number of lines of code a day. And it's because it's a slow process. You have to take your time, you have to think about it. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You got to go undo what you did and try again and over and over and over. You're going to be wrong every time before you're right. So expect to be making a lot of mistakes. I'll have people, it's kind of hard for me to explain if you don't have experience programming, but you will probably see throughout this semester that what I'm saying will become a little clearer. And I know that when you're not used to programming, it might sound like what I'm saying is dismissive, but that's really not what I'm doing here. It's like people will come to office hours and be like, I've spent all this time on the assignment and I'm stuck. I'm really bad at this. I need a lot of help. I'm like, well, how much time have you spent on the assignment? They're like, I spent like an hour. Okay, come back in 5 hours, and now we're talking. That's not to say that you couldn't have a question after an hour. What I am saying is expect this stuff to take a while. Expect it to be slow. Expect it to be challenging, but that's what it is. So don't throw in the towel easily. Give yourself enough of a chance to be successful. And I realize my screen for the recording's a little funky, so I'm going to adjust that now. If anyone's watching wondering what the hell's going on, that's what's going on. Good enough. Yeah. So hopefully that answered your question. Obviously, schedule office hours with me when you're stuck. That's what I like. Yes, I want to help you. I want to make sure you're successful, right? But make sure you're giving yourself a chance to be successful in the first place before you give up, for lack of a better term, even though that's really not what I mean. Other questions? All right, well, I'm not seeing any typing. Let me just think, because I had it scheduled till 8, so I'll give myself a few more minutes to think about what else I might want to bring up. Yeah, just to say it again, the labs, they're not marked. You don't submit them anywhere. if you work through it, you'll know if you're right or wrong. But of course, if you've worked through the labs and you're like, yo, look, can we have office hours to talk about the labs? I want to see if I'm doing things right. Awesome, cool, great, right? Similarly with like the lecture topics. If you're working through the lecture topics, you're doing the activities, you have a specific question about an activity. Yeah, that's office hour. Perfect, great, awesome. That would be a good use of office hour time. That's really all I can think about right now. I imagine once things get going, you're going to have questions. Oh, someone's typing, so we'll wait a moment. In spite of the fact that someone's asking a question right now, I will say chances are after this chat, you're going to think of other questions. Yeah, shoot me an email. We'll figure something out. Yeah, we'll just wait for the question to come through. Oh, I didn't spook you, did I? Or did I answer your question already? Or now are you working on the wording? Or now am I throwing you off because I'm talking about you typing? It's probably that, right? I hit a button. Yeah, okay, yeah, all right, cool. All right, I guess that's basically it. I can't think of anything else to cover. It should be fairly straightforward. That's not to say you're not going to have questions. If you have questions, again, shoot me an email. Happy to help you out. Yeah, that's it. Last chance for questions. All right, seeing nothing coming in, I guess we'll wrap up now. Thanks for the two of you that showed up. From the emails responses I got, it really seemed as if more people were looking to show up tonight. But anyways, I guess it's better than zero, right? Cool. All right, you guys have a wonderful evening. You're gonna go watch. Someone's saying something. Okay, thank you. Who's gonna go watch the hockey game right after this, or right after, or later today? Neither of you. No. 100%. Yeah, same. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later. I don't know, man. Every time I think I got something, I really don't know. I'm just looking to watch some exciting hockey. How about you? What are you thinking? It's a tricky question. Yeah, that's what throws me off is the tables really have turned. Like now it's a reverse sweep potential, right? So Florida's gone into every game thinking like we're winning the cup tonight, and now they're getting to a position where like they have to kind of shift their mentality. Anyways, before we get lost in this, we should probably call it. Otherwise, we could go on forever. All right, like I said. If anyone has any, like if either of you have questions or anyone else watching the recording later has any follow-up questions, you know how to find me. Otherwise, yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. Hopefully you have a fun time with the course. The content I think is done in a way that should be pretty accessible, but like I said, let me know if there's a problem. Okie dokie. Goodbye everybody and have a wonderful rest of your evening.